prepaid call from
Randall.
an inmate at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via, and I'm currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder in Red Onion State Prison in the state of Virginia in the USA. This is my podcast, Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoy listening to me today. Today, I'm going to talk about COVID because I have COVID-19 or whatever variant it happens to be nowadays. It's hard to freaking say. There's like 75 of them. But basically, it started several weeks ago. We had just finally gotten back to a normal schedule where we were getting pod rec in the morning time for 2 hours each tier, and we was getting an hour to an hour and a half after lunch each tier, and then we were supposed to start getting an hour each tier on night shift, but they've been taking a lot of our officers and sending them down to other prisons to work because those prisons are really short on staff, like Greenville, Sussex 1, Augusta, and Sussex 2. That was the other one. And so instead of those compounds being on lockdown, they decide to take all of our officers, send them down there for 7 days to work, and just keep us up here on lockdown. Which, let me tell you, did not make the inmates at Red Onion State Prison very happy at all. Matter of fact, it really pissed us off. But it is what it is. Just like I said, we just started to get back to a normal routine. And it wasn't, just a couple of days after that, they put us on lockdown again. And we asked the CEOs, like, yo, man, why are we on lock? What's going on? We thought there had been like a gang fight or, a CO got stabbed or something like that, but nobody would tell us what was going on. And that's very, very rare because normally they tell you exactly what's going on. And then a couple of days later, they came around and they started testing everybody for COVID, even those who've been vaccinated. And I've been vaccinated. I have both of the Moderna shots, though I haven't taken the booster shot. And quite frankly, I'm just not going to, especially now that I am sick with COVID. After taking that second shot for the Moderna vaccine, that damn shot almost killed me, literally. I am not exaggerating. That damn thing had me sicker than I've ever been in my life. And I had baby pneumonia one time with a urinary tract infection and a kidney infection at the same time. So I know sick from sick. And, I'm done with vaccinations. That right there taught me a lesson that I learned. I learned it the hard way. So I had started to feel sick. I just thought it was the flu. Normal, a bit of a headache. My nose was a little stopped up. I was a little bit nauseous. I didn't feel hungry. And normally I stay hungry. So that's when I'm not hungry, that's when I know there's something wrong with me physically. And it's just the flu. It is what it is. Because, I didn't even take the flu vaccination this year. So, they came around and I took the swab and everything and gave it back to them. And I didn't test positive, which is like, okay, now I just got the flu. I'll stay in the cell for a couple of days. I'll drink a lot of water and I'll force myself to work out. And I did. They came back 3 days later, excuse me, and they tested everybody again. And that time I actually tested positive, and the CEO came up and he was like, hey, man, got to pack your stuff. You're going over to quarantine. You tested positive. I was like, all right, it is what it is. I wasn't exactly happy about it. And I was like, yo, wait a minute, hold up, before y'all go anywhere. When I come out of quarantine, I'm coming right back to this cell, right? Y'all ain't going to try to screw me out of my single cell status or do something funny. They're like, nah, guaranteed you're getting your cell back. You don't have to worry about that at all. And I'm like, all right, well, that's cool. So I went ahead and packed my stuff up, and I waited a couple of hours, and then finally the CEOs came and got me and pushed me over here to quarantine, which is where I'm at right now, talking to y'all on the cordless phone. Because I'm back in D building, where I spent basically the last 8 years of my life before I went to B2. And, I'm in D319 now, and in B building, they don't have cordless phones. to use the phone, you have to leave your cell, go out into the pod to the front of it, where they got little pay phones bolted to the wall. There's 6 of them. And you use the phone there, but back here they got the cordless phone. So even though we're on quarantine, even though the compound is on lockdown, at least I still think it's on lockdown. They might have let him off. I'm not sure. I didn't even bother asking because I'm stuck in the cell all day except for when I go down to the shower 3 days a week. But because they got the cordless phone, the COs, I hollered at them, and I know them really well. And, yo, man, dude, bring me the phone. Let me get that. And I was like, all right, we don't got a problem with that. You know, so thankfully, I'm able to get the phone, able to talk to a couple of people and let them know what's going on with me. But it sucks. Not to being over here, being locked down in the cell, because honestly, I've just taken this opportunity just to get some extra sleep when I can. I don't have nothing to read because when we went on lockdown right before we were supposed to get library books. So I wasn't able to get library books, and I've read everything in my cell several times. So I've just been watching TV, forcing myself to watch it. There's really not much on, though. I have been watching a lot of the Olympics, which is kind of cool because I like curling. You know, I kind of like the skeleton and some of that stuff. I'm not a real big fan of the figure skating, though, which I'm sure it doesn't really surprise nobody that knows me. But, you know, it hasn't been too bad. I just kind of enjoyed it a little bit. Like, it sucks because there's a lot of downtime. There's not a lot to do, and that's the one good thing about being in population is you get to come out the cell, you get to talk to people, you get to, you know, I have to get on the phone, I have to get on the kiosk to type up a couple of emails because, you know, my tablet, the battery blew up months ago. So thankfully I just found out that it's going to be a while, probably another 6 or 7 months, but they're going to pass out the new JP6S tablets sometime this year. You know, they're going to start at Lowlands, and then eventually they'll get up here to Red Onion. So that'll help me a lot once I get that, because I'll be able to write my emails in the cell, and I'll be able to play a couple of the video games I have. Listen to a little bit of music, which I'm looking forward to. But COVID itself, it wasn't that bad. Like I said, just light flu-like symptoms. The only thing that really bothers me is I have a cough. Like, if I was to go and lay down on the bed, I would start coughing, and I would not stop coughing until I sat up and stood up. Like, I guess it's because of the pressure of my chest and everything when I'm laying down. Like, it's constricting my chest and it's causing me to cough. I still cough when I stand up, but it's not as bad. Like, if I lay down, I would literally start coughing. I wake myself up at night coughing, 40, 50 times a night. Excuse me. That's basically it. You know, I haven't received any treatment. I haven't seen any nurse. They come around twice a day and say, hey, do you want your temperature checked? Do you want your temperature checked? But that's it. They haven't given me no medication. They haven't actually examined me or done anything. And well, actually, you know what? There's one more thing about it that does annoy me. There was a bunch of people that tested positive. There was like 60-some people that tested positive when I tested positive. And as far as I know, only 2 of us were actually sick with COVID. The rest of the guys were asymptomatic. That kind of annoyed the crap out of me because, I mean, that's just a kick in the damn nuts. That sucked. I'm not going to lie about that. But, that, you know, it's just annoying. It's not like I'm dying from it. It's not like I'm really, truly suffering from the COVID. I'm already feeling better. Yeah, the cough is kind of lingering a little bit. That's annoying. But outside of that, I'm good. Like, even when I was kind of at my worst, it still wasn't bad. It was just, you know, I've had worse flus. So it's more annoying than it is anything. And that's just because it's interrupting my day, and I just don't stop coughing. You know, it's kept me from the kiosk, and I know I'm going to have a lot of emails backed up, and hopefully nobody's mad at me. I'll be able to explain, hey, look, you know, I've been in quarantine for the last couple of weeks. Sorry that I couldn't write you back. And I think most inmates in prison, especially here at Red Onion, are the same. Like, I'm in quarantine, and I can't begin to tell you how many times I've heard the guys get on the door talking to the unit manager or the building lieutenant or the nurse, like, man, why am I even over here? Like, I'm not sick. I don't have a temperature. I'm not coughing. My nose isn't running. Like, y'all got me in segregation basically for nothing. Like, come on, man. Y'all, I'm asymptomatic. It's a false positive. Like, why am I even over here? Inmates in general just look at it like, you know what, man, just open the prison back up. Give us everything we're supposed to get. Give us all the time we're supposed to get. And look, if a person gets sick, so what? If we all get sick, guess what? After those 2 weeks, everybody will be immune to it, and then we can just go on with our life. Like, give it to us. Like, there are guys here that will literally tell them, like, yo, look, man, just go ahead and infect all of us. Deliberately infect all of us with the COVID-19 so we can just get on with our damn lives. That's most inmates' attitude. Yeah, okay, if I would have caught COVID and died, the way I look at it, I just don't have to do the rest of my prison sentence. Death ain't the worst thing in the world.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Most prisoners feel that way, like, about anything. Like, most of us honestly would rather be dead than do time in prison. So COVID ain't, the way we look at it in here is just, it's different from the way people on the street would look at it. And I'm sure if we had much better food, I'm sure if we had much better television, if we had Apple Plus and Netflix and Hulu and stuff like that, we had PlayStations and blah, blah, all the creature comforts that y'all have on the street, our attitudes might be a lot different, and I understand that and I respect that, because when you're in here and you're deprived of so much that people on the street take for granted, we kind of become calloused and hard-hearted towards certain things. Like, man, we honestly have a hard time comprehending why people around the world are so afraid of COVID. Like, to us, it's not a big deal. You get sick for a couple of days and you get over it, and if you die, whatever, you die. I mean, it ain't the end of the world. Which, right or wrong, and honestly, it's probably wrong, even I'm well enough to understand that. But that's just our attitudes towards COVID and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's what I've been going through for the last couple of weeks. This is Red Onion Randy. Those of you who listen to me on Apple Podcast, I would appreciate it if you would review me and rate me. Don't forget to check out my website, redonionrandy.com. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you for using GTL.